The Volkswagen Golf GTI is a car that needs no introduction, so I'm not going to give it one other than to say it's the 7th incarnation of the world's most famous hot hatch. So it better be good. As with every incarnation before it, the beauty of the GTI is that it's a performance car with practicality. It has a big boot, is available with rear doors, has plenty of room in the back seats, and oodles of cubby spaces. Finally, there's the fact that this car's shape is instantly recognisable. There are some key styling differences which make it stand out from the normal Golf. For instance, we've got a bigger front bumper, a honeycomb grille with a red stripe which runs all the way into the headlamps. Now, I quite like that feature. Down here, we've got some 18-inch alloy wheels as standard, and there's a handy GTI badge in case you've forgotten which car it is you own. Down the side, there is the obligatory side skirts. Now, if you come around the back, you'll see there's a subtle boot spoiler. And finally, we haven't just got one exhaust, we've got two. Inside, the GTI looks quite similar to the normal Golf, apart from its sports steering wheel, racy dials, and heavily bolstered tartan patterned seats. Standard equipment includes bi-xenon headlamps, DAB digital radio, Bluetooth, and parking sensors. The Golf GTI uses a 2-litre turbocharged petrol engine with 220 horsepower. Now, that may seem a little bit off the pace of its main rivals, but the 0 to 62 time of 6.5 seconds is pretty much par for the course for a hot hatch, really. And actually, out on the road, when you're moving, because the engine pulls really hard right from tick over, it actually feels a lot faster than the numbers suggest. And another great thing about this car, actually, is that despite the performance on tap, VW says it will do 44 miles per gallon. Volkswagen has given this car a variable rate steering rack, and what that means is that the more you turn the wheel, the more responsive the steering becomes. And what it also gives you is that, look at this, right? I've got the car at full lock. Now, I can go from lock to lock in just 2 turns of the wheel, and that means that this car is very easy to drive through tight bends. In fact, you can go through hairpins just pretty much without crossing your hands over at all. So then, what happens when you chuck the GTI at a corner? Well, not a lot really, it just kind of goes round, no fuss at all, and that's because the car is just so stable and so well balanced, and it's got loads of grip that it's just dead easy to drive quick. In fact, it's even better if you go for the optional performance pack. Now, that will cost you about £1,000, and that includes a 10 horsepower upgrade for the engine, some bigger brakes, and most importantly of all, a special differential, which actually gives this car so much grip you could be forgiven for thinking that it's actually got 4-wheel drive. Other options worth considering are the adaptive dampers, because in comfort mode they make the GTI glide over bumps as though it's a limousine, while the DSG dual clutch gearbox is smooth in auto mode and quick in manual mode when using the paddle shifters. And it makes the car emit this great sound on upshifts. Trouble is though, all that adds to the cost, and the Golf GTI is already pretty expensive to begin with. In fact, it puts it close on price to the far more powerful BMW 135iM. And another thing with this car is that it's a little bit predictable, and you don't quite get the raw thrills of driving it like you do with the Renault Sport Megane. But for many people, the Golf GTI's capability, everyday usability and fabulous desirability will more than make up for this. And yeah, you've probably gathered that I rather like this car.